Have you ever wondered who the ancient Nordic people were apart from the famous Viking warriors and raiders? The Nordic people, often simplified as Vikings, are frequently shrouded in a haze of mystery and misconceptions. The word Viking, or Vikinger, originally defined a person as a raider. In popular culture, the Norse people have been carved into this one-dimensional image of brutal warriors and ruthless raiders. However, the reality is much more complex and fascinating. They were not just warriors, they were explorers, traders, farmers, and skilled craftsmen, with a rich culture that extends far beyond their reputation on the battlefield. It is true that warfare and raids were significant aspects of their society. Their prowess in battle, their naval technology, and their strategic capabilities are well documented and undeniable. But to paint the entire Nordic civilization with a broad brush of marauding violence would be an oversimplification. Behind the formidable Viking warrior was a society with deep-rooted traditions, complex social structures, and a profound respect for the natural world. They had a unique perspective on life and death, with intricate spiritual beliefs and rituals. They valued honor, loyalty, and wisdom, principles that were woven into the fabric of their everyday life. Their culture was also enriched by their art and literature. Their sagas, myths, and poetry provide invaluable insights into their worldview and values. Their art, characterized by intricate designs and symbolic motifs, was not just decorative but often served a spiritual or protective purpose. Furthermore, the Norsemen were accomplished seafarers and traders. They established trade routes that stretched from North America to Asia, facilitating cultural exchange and influencing the course of history in numerous regions of the world. So, let's not limit our understanding of the Vikings to their exploits in warfare. Let's look beyond the stereotypes and delve into their rich, multifaceted culture. Let's explore their daily lives, spiritual beliefs, art, literature, and their lasting legacy in the world. To truly understand a civilization, we must delve deeper than their battles and conquests. So let's set sail on a journey to unravel the culture of the ancient Nordic people. Imagine a day in the life of a Viking, but not on a battlefield. When we picture a Viking, we often visualize a seafaring warrior embroiled in the chaos of battle. But their daily life was far removed from this stereotype. In reality, most Vikings led a rather peaceful and industrious life, with farming at its core. At the break of dawn, the Norse farmer would greet the day with a vigorous start. Tending to fields of barley, oats, and rye, they would plow, sow, and harvest, using tools fashioned out of iron and wood. This wasn't just the work of men. Nordic women too shared the burden of agriculture. They were an integral part of the farming society, working side by side with the men, tilling the soil, and taking care of the livestock. But the Norseman's life wasn't just about farming. Crafting played a significant role, with demonstrating remarkable skills in blacksmithing, woodwork, and textile weaving. A Nordic man might spend hours at the forge, crafting weapons, tools, and jewelry, while a Nordic woman could be found at the loom, weaving the fabric that would clothe their family and adorn their homes. Trade was another cornerstone of Norse life. Norsemen were prolific traders, their long ships voyaging far and wide, carrying goods from the far reaches of Europe and Asia. They traded in everything from furs, tusks, and iron to exotic goods like silk and spices. Family life was deeply important to the Nordic people. Children were cherished and seen as the future of the community. Parents took pride in passing down their knowledge and skills to the next generation, instilling a strong sense of community and shared responsibility. But it wasn't all work for Norsemen. They also knew how to enjoy life. Festivals and feasts were common, with music, storytelling, and games providing much-needed entertainment and relaxation. A Norseman's day was not all about raids and battles. They were also farmers, traders, and family people, much like many of us today. What gods did the Nordic people worship, and how did their spiritual beliefs influence their daily lives? When we delve into the Old Norse spiritual beliefs, we find a pantheon of gods and goddesses, each with their own distinct characteristics and domains. At the helm of this divine assembly was Odin, the Allfather, known as the god of wisdom, war, and poetry. Then there was Thor, the god of thunder and protector of mankind, popularly recognized by his mighty hammer Mjolnir. Freya, the goddess of love, beauty, and fertility, also held a significant place in Viking spirituality. But Norsemen didn't just worship these deities in temples or through statues. Their spiritual beliefs were deeply ingrained in their daily lives, influencing their actions, decisions, and their perception of the world around them. For example, in Old Norse culture, they believed that each of their gods had influence over specific aspects of life. To ensure a bountiful harvest, they might offer a prayer to Freyr, the god of fertility and prosperity. Before embarking on a perilous sea journey, they would invoke the blessing of Njord, the god of sea and seafarers. One of the most profound aspects of Norse spirituality was their belief in fate. They believed that their lives were predestined, woven by the Norns, the goddesses of fate. This belief in an unalterable fate, or weird as they called it, shaped their worldview, making them fearless in the face of danger and death. Norsemen believed that dying in battle was the greatest honor, as it assured them a place in Valhalla, the majestic hall of Odin, where they would feast and fight until the end of the world. However, it is important to note that Old Norse spirituality was not just about worshipping gods and accepting fate, it was also about understanding their place in the cosmos. The Nordic people saw themselves as part of a complex network of relationships between the gods, the land, other humans, and even the creatures of the mythological world. The Nordic people's spiritual beliefs were not just about worshipping gods, but also about understanding their place in the world. The Norsemen were not just warriors known as Vikings, but also artists and poets. But what kind of art and literature did they create? When we think of Nordic people, we often think of the Vikings and picture fearsome warriors with horned helmets, which is actually a false interpretation of their armor. But let's dive deeper into their culture beyond this stereotype. Alongside their prowess in battle, the Norsemen were also skilled craftsmen, poets, and storytellers. Their art and literature were as rich and intricate as their seafaring journeys, offering a fascinating insight into their world. Old Norse art is unique and instantly recognizable. It's characterized by intricate patterns known as knotwork that weave together animals, mythical beasts, and abstract shapes. Their art was not just for decoration, but also served a practical purpose. It adorned everyday objects from weapons to jewelry to the prows of their longships, turning the mundane into the extraordinary. But the Nordic people didn't just express themselves through visual art. They also left behind a treasure trove of literature, the sagas. These epic tales, written in Old Norse, tell stories of legendary heroes, mythical gods, and historical events. They offer a glimpse into their thoughts, dreams, and values, as well as their sense of humor. Poetry, too, was a significant part of Norse culture. Skaldic poetry, a complex and highly structured form of verse, was composed to honor kings and heroes. These poems were often filled with kennings, metaphorical phrases that added depth and mystery to the words. For instance, a ship might be referred to as the sea steed, or a warrior as a spear adept. And let's not forget the runes. Norsemen used a system of writing known as the runic alphabet. Each rune was not just a letter, but also a symbol with its own meaning and power. Runes were carved into stones, metal, and wood, and were used for everything from everyday messages to magical spells. The art and literature of Norse culture provides a window into their souls, revealing a side of them that's often overlooked. Their creativity and love for storytelling suggest a depth of thought and a rich inner life that goes beyond their reputation as raiders and warriors. It reminds us that there's always more to a culture than meets the eye. So, how did the ancient Nordic people impact our world today? A question that brings us to the very heart of the Old Norse legacy. The Norsemen were not just fierce warriors, they were also innovative engineers, skilled traders, and gifted linguists. Their influence permeates our modern world in ways we often overlook. Let's start with their technological innovations. Norsemen were master shipbuilders. Their longships, with their shallow draft design, allowed for both sea and river navigation, enabling them to explore and trade across vast distances. This ingenuity in maritime technology laid the groundwork for future advancements in shipbuilding and navigation. Norsemen were also skilled traders and craftsmen. They established trade routes stretching from North America to Asia, bringing a wealth of goods and ideas back to their homeland. Their craftsmanship, particularly in metalwork and jewelry, still influences modern design aesthetics with its intricate geometric patterns and animal motifs. Now let's consider their influence on language. Do you know that many English words we use today have Old Norse roots? Words like egg, cake, knife, husband, window, and even they, them, and their are all of Old Norse origin. The Nordic people left a significant linguistic footprint shaping the language we speak today. And of course, there's their cultural impact. The sagas, epic tales of heroes, gods, and monsters, have inspired countless works of fiction, from Tolkien's Lord of the Rings to George R.R. Martin's Game of Thrones. These stories, filled with elements of adventure, courage, honor, and betrayal, continue to captivate audiences worldwide. The Nordic people also left their mark on our calendar. The names of 3 days of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, are derived from the names of Norse gods, Tyr, Odin, and Thor. Norsemen might be known for their battles, but their true legacy lies in their culture and the influence they left behind. Yes, they were fierce warriors, but they were also explorers, traders, craftsmen, storytellers, and linguists. The echoes of their culture resonate in our world today, reminding us of a rich and complex past that continues to shape our present. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like and subscribe buttons and click the notification bell icon to see when we release new videos.